Creative Katie here with another Mixed Media Tidbits and Tips. So everybody saw when I was doing one of my last Tidbits and Tips where I take an embossing or a cardstock that has embossing on it and I pressed it into wet gesso and you end up with results like this. So I was thinking, because you go right down to the white of the gesso, so I'm thinking what would happen if I had one color underneath and it was dried, and then I put another color on, and then I try to lift it, if what is underneath here, instead of being white like in here, would be colored. So of course, if I think it, I must do it. So I'm just going to put some phthalo blue, or phthalo green. Of course, I can't find it now that I need it. And some blue here. I can't find my phthalo. That's okay. So I'm just going to spread this on, and this is going to be the layer that I'm going to completely dry. Just get a little bit of water to make this spread a little. My little tubes, the paint is a little bit I just want a little bit more blue in there. Different blue, that's okay. Okay, so it's all dry on the card. So I'm just deciding what color to put. I could have just put the teal on the one and then afterwards, but I didn't. So I'm just going to mix up some dioxazine purple and I have my embossing folder here, and it's kind of a peacock feather. So I'm ready to put that on. I'm just going to go over this. Get a nice juicy application. And I want the bumpiest side down. And voila, you do see that color come through. I think if you look at the color wheel, I think when you're putting colors on top, this worked because these are all at the top. The colors that go in these 5 spaces are called analogous colors, and they will always go together and they will blend better. I don't think I would put an orange, which is a complementary color, on top of the blue, because I'm thinking it may or may not give you what you want. But again, you can try it on a piece of paper and see and do it. But if you stick to what's in there for all the colors, which I did, you should end up with a lovely background. How's that? Loving it. So I think if I had put quinacridone magenta, I'd been okay on that as well. So my other question, since I did another tidbits and tips, I have this, which I pulled off using the same process. I had put gesso, dried it, put dioxazine purple on, and dried it, or didn't dry it, put the embossing, the cardstock that had been embossed. Now I'm wondering what would happen if I could color that in by putting a light wash of another color. And again, I'm thinking I'm going to stick with the analogous colors that are all together. Because if I put a yellow on there, on top of there, it may be, so with the color wheel, I'm going to make sure this purple is somewhere in the middle, so there, so I can go from here to here and put another layer on there if I didn't want the white. So I'm going to try, since I have it out, my quinacridone magenta. And I am going to thin this somewhat, because I do want a very light wash. I'm thinking if I had my dilutions paints here, because they are very translucent, at least one single layer, I might use them. So then I'm just going to go on top of that. And instead of drying, I'm just going to pat it to see. So if you pat it, you can get, it's going to be a lighter color, more subtle, but you can add layers to see how, and you really can't see in the camera that it is pink inside there. I'm just going to add a little bit more of this quinacridone magenta, just to get a bit of a darker color. And there you have it. You know it. This is going to come back and be a lovely background for an upcoming iCAD. So, two ways to get even more colors in there. And you could mix two top colors, two bottom colors. So, using embossed cardstock and stamping into wet acrylic, either after an initial, with a base color that's dried, or gesso that's dried, for a very different look. Give it a try. I'm loving the look.